Who's there? Ah, her bloody family are after arriving. You see, these are things that I've got no control over. And now, this morning I wake up and there's an even bigger red banner. I bought that in Macro about a month, 6 weeks ago, and I think it was less than 300 baht. So if you want a very, very cheap gin, you know, you can exercise control. There you go, exercise some control and budget yourself with some Charles House gin. Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega occasionally. But you know that anyway. Do you know something? I'm under control. You're under control. We're all under bloody control. And you see, I don't want to repeat myself, but what's highlighted this for me is the situation I consistently find myself in, i.e. I'm living in Thailand on a visa which is in the process, or as they say, it's pending. And pending is one of those words that is subject to context. You know, sometimes pending can mean it's 99.9%, otherwise sometimes pending can mean absolutely not a chance, but we're looking at it anyway. But regardless of that, I'm under control, and I'm going to tell you how I'm under control and you're under control. Now, if you've ever wanted to go somewhere for Western style food, S&P Bakery wouldn't be a bad choice. That's just a side note. I tell you how I feel. I woke up this morning and I turned on my computer and I went onto Google AdSense, and this is about control. And for the last almost 2 years, I've had a red banner on my Google AdSense account. As well, you can't see it now. You can only see the replacement banner they put up since the last time I looked at it. But over the last 2 years, it's been your tax information needs to be updated. Until then, we will use default tax, blah blah blah. And I've been paid by AdSense. I have been paid by AdSense for the last 2 years based on that default tax thing, which was minimal. I didn't even notice it. But I am being taxed, but it's minimal. And now, this morning I wake up and there's an even bigger red banner. It's like watching Integrity Legal. Every time you turn it on, it's bad news. Anyway, I turn it on and it's a big red banner. And it says, your current tax certificate, you can see it there. Now I'm going from memory, but you can see it. It expires on the 31st of December. They will withhold up to 30% of my earnings and or all of it, unless I supply them with the relevant tax certificate. But they don't necessarily specify what the relevant tax certificate is. But I have a good idea what it is, so I have to go and get one. But you see, this is a form of control. I pay tax to the IRS. I'll say that again. I pay tax to the IRS. I've never lived in the United States. I've been there, but I've never lived there. I don't know anyone who lives there. I've never worked there. I don't know anyone who works there. I probably do, whatever, I don't know. But I have never resided I have never resided in the USA or been a tax resident in the USA. And yet, because I'm a YouTuber, I pay tax to the IRS with every single month. That's control. And I may ask myself, why? Or you may ask yourself, why should you be subject to supporting a jurisdiction? Because that's what you're doing when you're paying tax. Supporting a jurisdiction if you're not resident in that jurisdiction and or if you don't benefit in any way by the administrative authorities of that jurisdiction. In other words, you don't get healthcare, you don't get housing, you don't get social. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm prepared to do it, because if I'm not prepared to do it, I won't get paid at all. And you see, I pay tax in Thailand. And I paid my tax last year. And I'll pay my tax this year. And I'm not talking about Thailand, I'm talking about in general. The powers that be, I'll speak about my own country, Ireland. The Irish government, because if I was living there, would impose tax upon me. And here's what I say, in my 61st year, soon to become my 62nd year, what right has any authority, namely the Irish government, I'm talking about the Irish government here, what right has the Irish government to impose a tax upon me? I know you've got to, if you're living in a society and you're availing of the public services have to be paid for. I agree with that. But it shouldn't be that it's compulsory. Because if I don't choose to live, which I don't live there, and I don't pay tax there, but if I don't choose to avail of the public services and what have you, why the hell am I obliged? And by the way, I know what you're saying. Nobody is going to live in any jurisdiction and absolutely not avail of some degree of public service at some stage or another. I know, but I'm talking about the principle. We're under control. And I hold, that's the verb, I hold an Irish passport. I don't own one. The government owns your passport. You are a holder. They control you, whoever they are. And the reason the thing that highlights this control is living in a foreign country on a visa. As somebody once said on this channel, and I've quoted him before, you're the eternal guest. And as a guest, you're vulnerable. But as a guest, you're still required to pay tax. On a side note, and you know I like bringing in these side notes, if you're wondering where I am, I'm in Clong Lawang, but I'm not in the part of Clong Lawang that I'm normally in. We're about 5 or 6 kilometres away. This is a wonderful spot. It really is. I'm in a Potata gas station, and as this being Thailand, it's full of food. It's food everywhere, and it's days like today and times like now that I don't feel under control. I wonder what she's selling. What's that say? They don't allow photos and videos. I'm not going to photo and video them. They're behind me. It's incidental. I'm not deliberately photo and videoing them. Again, control. I know you don't agree with me about people who don't wish to be recorded. Of course, if I didn't want someone to take a photo or a video of me, yes, I'd feel within my rights to ask them not to. I didn't see that sign until I walked up and looked, because it was written in small print and it was predominantly Thai, and only the very small print was in English. So once I realised that, I moved away. But this idea about, I think in the States you have it right. Whatever amendment to the Constitution you have, where there's no assumption, is that right? There's no assumption of privacy in public. Whatever you can see with this, you can see with the lens. It's the same thing. I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly with that. But there are countries around the world like the UAE. I've lived in the UAE, by the way, for over a year, or just over a year. Back then, YouTube wasn't an issue. That was 2008. Not many people were and TikTok didn't exist, and Instagram probably wasn't a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway. But you didn't get vloggers vlogging, and it wasn't an issue. But apparently now in Dubai, for example, I couldn't do what I'm doing now if people were being caught incidentally walking by. But in Thailand, at least you can record yourself in public, and whatever is incidental, as long as you're not pointing the camera in their face if they don't want it to be pointed in their face. Oh God, you know what I want to do? It's going to start raining. It's roast and toasting. I'm going to go and get some cash. And here's another control, invisible control. When you use your QR code, you don't need me to tell you. It's all there. It's a paper trail. If I use the ATM, it's a paper trail. But the cash I get is invisible, you see. And by the way, that's not the reason I'm going to get cash. I want to buy lime for my gin tonight, and I want to buy mixer. And what else was there? I wanted to get something else, but I'm going down to Macro. And Macro, again, this is incidental, by the way. Macro is one of those, it's a wholesale place where you don't need a wholesale card. Now there you go. There's a lack of control. Anyone can go in, it's a wholesaler's. So I'm going down there because I know I can get lime, and I know I can get me mixer, and I know I can get a few other things. And I'm in the humour for doing that. But here's another aspect of that. You're not allowed video in Macro. Well, there you go. You see, it's understandable. It's private property. They can determine what they want. They are exercising control over their own jurisdiction. But you see, my country is my own jurisdiction, and somebody else exercises control over me when I reside there. So I've just rocked up here to Macro in Clonglawong, and if you want to put that in some kind of perspective, we're about 10 minutes from Rangsett, that kind of distance, and from Muha was where we live, Clonglawong, Muha, that little village, we're about another 10 minutes from there. But the way things are going with the traffic, they're doing waterworks there on along that road, and in sections it's down to one lane, and it's going to take me forever to get back. But I'd do anything to get me lime for my Gordon's gin, because you have to have a lime in a Gordon's gin. That's the controls. They're the controls that are put on me by advertisers. You see, you're supposed to have lime in your Gordon's gin. I'm programmed. That's what it is. You're programmed too. That's Macro up there. So I'm going to go and get me lime. I'm going to go and get me mixer. I can't bring you into the place with me, because even though I'm on the premises, they don't like you, and they won't allow you to record in the premises. But you see, I'm an honest YouTuber, because I don't go around with an itsy bitsy little GoPro-y kind of thing, or whatever the thing they're using now. I don't use the GoPro because only vloggers use GoPros, and they're all British. Well, sorry, I just, whatever. But anyway, this thing is very large, it's very noticeable. I can't just waltz into Macro or anywhere else with this and do my shopping. So I'll have to leave you here while I do that. But I'll be back in a few moments with my lime and my mixers, and I have an idea that I might just get something else. Well guys, I'd hoped to show you what I got after coming out of there, but it's, as you can see, it's absolutely precipitating. This is the tail end of rainy season. And you see, that in itself exercises a control over me and over you. I mean, here I am sitting in the car when I should be out there talking to you from out there, but I can't. And now I have to face this drive home, which is less than desirable. I can tell you that for nothing, lads. It's going to take forever. I wish to God this rainy season would just bloody well end. My God. We'll continue on. I don't know how I'm going to... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. When I go home, I'm going to make chips. That's what I bought. I bought potatoes. I bought a sieve. Not a sieve, but a thing to drain off the oil and all the rest of it. And I'll have me chips when I go back. And I'll give some chips to Harry. And we'll talk some more about being under control. I mean, look at this. Look at this. What in the name of Jesus? Well, I just got back, and I know we're talking about control, and I am under control because I'm here with the spouse. And everybody knows, whoever has or has had a spouse of the female gender, you know exactly what I mean about control. Anyway, I'm just going to tell you what I got and what I got it for. I got potatoes to make chips. Yes, chips, not French fries, lad, chips. And just to give you a heads up, I got 1.2 kilos at 38.75 baht per kilo. So it was about 40 baht, give or take. That's not bad. About $1 for just over a kilo of spuds. Lime, because I was told, watching a gin review online last night about lime, So it's recommended that you add lime to your Gordon's gin along with tonic water. But I couldn't find tonic water. So I use 0 sugar lemon soda. I'm going to give you a word of warning. If you're if you're a member of this channel, you'll know that I made a video on the member section. By the way, if you want to become a member, just click the button, you can join. I made a video about this stuff in the member section. This has no control over me, whereas Gordon's does have a degree of control over me. This is Charles House Gin. And all I'll say is, you'll see that it's not full. On some occasions, when I have run out of Gordon's, I will dip into this, but this is not my preference. And if you want to Google Charles House Gin, you might have better looked at me and find some reference to Charles House Gin online, because I couldn't. But I bought that in Macro about a month, 6 weeks ago, and I think it was less than 300 baht. So if you want a very, very cheap gin, you know, you can exercise control. There you go, exercise some control and budget yourself with some Charles House Gin. I would say that Gordon's, for me, for my money, Gordon's hits the spot where this may hit the spot. If you've got enough Gordon's in you, you wouldn't know the difference, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to put this back in the fridge. I said it before and I'll say it again, food has come into every single video I've been doing lately, apart from the beer reviews. And this one's got double, it's a double whammy, lads. We're going to have a bit of a gin review later on in this video. But you see, I am under control. I'm here and I'm at the behest of a decision by immigration on an annual basis. I said it before, I don't want to go repeating myself, but that's what I mean by being under control. Anyway, oh, by the way, and YouTubers are coming into the spotlight again. Some other... She's over there. No, not there. She's that way. YouTubers are coming into the spotlight again, you know. Look, I'm not going to go into detail. I mean, you can't... There's things you just cannot... Every morning I wake up, there's something else wrong. You see? And I feel like I'm under control. I can't find the tomato sauce. It's this bloody chili sauce. I'm going to put it on the side there just to see... Who's there? Oh, her bloody family are after arriving. You see, these are things that I've got no control over. She never tells me when they're coming. And you see, when I say bloody family, I mean, I love Thai people, but her family are just the most, I won't say rude. You know it if you're a regular viewer to the channel. Look, I'm going to get tucked into these before they go cold. I have a bit of that chili, hang on. Well, these chips aren't necessarily crispy, they're a bit soggy. That's the way my mother used to make them. And I love soggy chips. I'm probably the only one in the world. Look, I'll come back to you when I finish this. I'm under control. Well, I am under control. Now I'm the one in control. Well, here I am in my studio extraordinaire. If you're a regular viewer, my last video, the video I put up just before this, was this one. Everywhere. If you can see it there. I can't get done for copyright because it's my own. I'm as well off. Back at home. You'll see that in this video I was doing exactly the same thing as I'm doing in this video, but at the tail end, and it's the tail end of that video as well. So we've already acquainted our glass with our gardens. I'm in control of that. Now we're going to add my lemon soda. Couldn't get tonic. Couldn't get tonic. Dregs. Honest to God, I just decided I'll come home and be safe because that market is dangerous. It is dangerous for a married man to be any night of the week. A few drinks on you, I tell you. That is not the same bottle of Gordon's. That's the dregs of the one from the previous week. So here we are. I've got my lime. So I'm going to acquaint my Gordon's gin and lemon soda. Now lemon and lime, they go well together, I suppose. But give it a bit of a squeeze. Yes, indeed. That was very, very, very enthusiastic. Space it out a bit and plonk it in there. There you go, lads. Let's see what this tastes like. Oh dear. That is exceptionally drinkable. Lads, I just thought I saw somebody move out there. Anyway, I'm not going to get paranoid. Maybe it's to do with what I'm drinking, but I can assure you I'm in control of this situation. So here's the combination: Gordon's London Dry, Sing lemon soda, 0 sugar, and a quarter of a lime. These are the limes I bought in Macro earlier on. Wow. So, are you in control of the situation, or are you being controlled? Wherever you are in the world, wherever you are being controlled by the state. Sorry, I beg your pardon. You are being governed by the government, and you're being controlled by the state. And the government implement and change the rules as they go on, as they see fit. It's the way of the world. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think he's got a YouTube channel called Star Talk. He's the one who said on his recent video that he thinks it's ludicrous, and he's dead right. The way that the space race is starting again with China, and Russia's in there again, and the States are going again. And they're talking about divvying up space and how ludicrous that was. We're all part of the universe. That's what we are. As he said, we're all stardust. That's what we are. And yet governments decide that they will divvy up portions of the vastness of space for themselves. And they've already divvied up the earth that we live in, or live on. And why? Just ask yourself that question. Who gives anyone the right to govern you? You know, it's probably just, well, it's not just, it's a lot more than that. The lime definitely has a very positive effect on this, but when you see it in the glass like that, the aesthetics, and by the way, yes, this is a Stella glass. And, you know, the Gordons is putting on a stellar performance, that's for sure. Extremely drinkable. So, just as a footnote to this video, you are being controlled by virtue of the fact that you choose to live in a society that's governed on behalf of a state. And when you put yourself in an even worse situation, when you're living, imagine someone told you this 20 years ago, that they knew someone who was living in a country and was not a citizen of that country and had been living in that country for 15 years, let's say, and still not a citizen, but yet had to pay tax and had to apply to stay in that country once every 12 months. You think they were crazy. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. And that's exactly what you're doing if you're here for any length of time. And by the way, that's not a criticism, that's an observation. We all love Thailand, and that's why we're prepared to put up with the visas, because if we don't, we wouldn't be here. So we're under control. That's the way it is. There's no escape, lads. There's no escape. There's only two certainties in life, and you know what they are. I'm not even going to insult you by telling you what they are. And I've discussed one of them in this video. And the other one will come. The other one will come. And I suppose only then will I be able to say, well, I won't be able to say, but I will be rendered into a state of total control, because nobody will have any control over me, good, bad, or indifferent, and neither will I. I've got to get it. I've got to get another one of them. That's fantastic. And you've got to get yourself back here again on Alpha Omega. Make sure, lads, if you haven't done so already, click that like button, the share button, subscribe button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Remember, if you can do it all, take back a bit of control for yourself.